Hello. Today I'm going to show you a very interesting difference between Postgres and Oracle. We won't compare SQL Server because SQL Server does not have these features we are going to see, and it is about how exceptions are treated in Oracle and Postgres. Let's see. Let's start with Postgres. Here we do have the version of Postgres. We can see it is the most recent version, 17.5. Here we do have Oracle, and we can see it is quite recent, 23 AI. And now we have two tables and one function, respectively one stored procedure. These have an inner block trying to treat exceptions, and for ease of the understanding, I have created two tables, which is exception no error, in which we will insert a value before the block and after the block to see if both are persisted, and this is why I call the table no error. And another table which will produce an error at insert level, error which will be caught by the exception block. In the stored procedure, I put the output to null in exception, but again we have the same architecture, and we will see values in the no error table, if any, before exception and after exception, and what happens with the values here. Basically the inserts we are going to try inside the exception, inside the block containing the exception check. Okay, let's start with Oracle. Let's start with Oracle and see that we have no data in this table. No data indeed, no data in the second table, and now it's pretty clear. Whatever will be written by the execution of this stored procedure. Let's call it executed, no problems, no errors. Now, in no error, we do have both rows, the one before exception and before the block containing exception, and the one after the block containing exception, while in test exception error, we do have two rows, these two rows that do not produce a conflict, but we don't have the last row that failed. Okay, let's go now into Postgres and do the same. Let's check, we have nothing. Let's check, we have nothing. Let's execute the function. The function returns -1, the sign we had an error. And now look at no error table. F5, the same values 1, 1 and 2, 2. If you remember well, these are written before and after the block containing exception. And now the surprise. In the error table, we have nothing. In the error table, we have nothing. What does this mean? This means that basically in Postgres, the block begin end with exception inside acts in a very similar way to having save point at the begin level and the rollback inside the exception. Roll back to that save point. So everything which is inside the block is rolled back. This is very important. This distinction is very important if and when you will do migrations from Oracle to Postgres. First of all, it's a different behavior. Secondly, you might use this behavior in your advantage because you won't need anymore to mimic any, let's say, pragma autonomous transaction. You can obtain the same result or a similar result using just this simple construct in this function. Because as you can see, it is like the inserts into no error table and into error table were done in distinct transactions. So they don't interfere as such. Definitely, if you will put more complex code and you can do your examples here, you can try to insert something in no error inside the block and see what's happening. Definitely, as I have said, the case can be extended, but this is not the goal for today. The goal for today was to make you aware of this difference between Postgres and Oracle, which I think is not quite common. Thank you for listening me and see you for the next record.